morning, warriors. Please join me in the pledge to the Bible. I pledge allegiance to the Bible, God's holy word. I will make it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I will hide its words in my heart that I might not sin against God. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. We are going straight to our sound-offs today. The first one, I will say, give thanks, and you will say, always for all things. Give thanks, always for all things. And I will say, out of the abundance of the heart, and you will say, the mouth speaks. Okay, Miss Domajo, come up here so we can see your hand signs. Let's go back to give thanks. Ready? Give thanks always for all things. Out of the abundance of the heart,
the mouth speaks.
What do you think that means? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Who can re-explain, please? Okay, is that Corey? Excellent, thank you. That is truth. Okay, before we have Mrs. Jenkins come up, we're going to talk about an extra virtue. So this virtue we never get to really in morning time, but this virtue is called self-awareness. Self-awareness. What do you think self-awareness is? All right, Sophia? Oh, I think you were reading my mind already, Sophia. So you are aware not only of where you are, but what is going on around you. So sometimes this time of year, we're so used to doing the same thing over and over, and maybe our mind is already thinking about turkey and mashed potatoes and what we're going to have for dessert. And there's an adult trying to get to the other side of the hall, and we're just walking, and we're not paying any attention, and they have to stand there for several minutes waiting for a line to go through. So if we're self-aware, then what would be different about that situation? Okay, I'm trying to see here. Logan. Yes, but if we're aware of what's going on, what would happen instead? What would we do instead of keep walking? Yes, so that's part of having good manners, good etiquette, loving our neighbor. When we see an adult, we stop and let them go first instead of having them wait in the line, okay? When you're self-aware, you also notice the way that you're speaking to other people, the way that you're standing, your manners, your voice. So we're going to practice that as we get ready to have several visitors here on campus on Friday. So today, notice what's around you, who's around you, and be self-aware. So this morning, I could tell we were already daydreaming about mashed potatoes and gravy, because the line to go out to morning recess tried to follow a parent twice before a teacher even got there. So that several grades tried to go halfway down the hall and followed a parent thinking the parent was taking them to recess. So let's be self-aware and think about mashed potatoes and gravy after school. All right, we're going to welcome up Miss Jenkins to talk to us about gratitude.
Good morning, warriors.
Yes,
Yesterday, we learned that gratitude is being thankful in our hearts and showing it through our words and our actions. Today, I want to touch on what gratitude is not. Gratitude is not complaining or being jealous. When we complain or grumble, we're focusing on what we don't have instead of what we do. And when we're jealous of someone else, we miss out on seeing the blessings that God has given us. In the Bible, there's a story about the Israelites in the wilderness. God had rescued them from the slavery in Egypt, and he gave them manna to eat every day. It's a special bread from heaven. But instead of being thankful, they complained. They said, "We wish we had meat. We had better food in Egypt." Can you imagine complaining about bread from heaven? This bread provided them everything they needed. And still, they weren't happy and they wanted more. And complaining made the Israelites miserable. Their attitudes were just awful. They had forgot all of the good things that God had done for them. So how can we avoid complaining and being jealous? You know what the answer is? Gratitude. Instead of focusing on the things that we don't have or the things that we want instead, we need to remember what we do have. Think of Thanksgiving. Do you focus on the things that aren't on the table? Like, I wish we had more mac and cheese, or gosh, I don't want turkey, I want chicken nuggets. Or do you just enjoy the feast in front of you? I hope you enjoy the feast that your family has so lovingly prepared. Today, let's practice gratitude by stopping ourselves from complaining. And this goes really well with what Mrs. Blackshear was just talking about, self-awareness. If we stop and think about those things before they come out of our mouth or before those thoughts get into our head, instead, when we feel like whining, we're going to stop ourselves and be self-aware and think about something good instead. Gratitude is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So let's exercise that muscle today and show some gratitude. Thank you, warriors.
Out of the abundance of the heart,
The mouth speaks.
have a grateful day. The Lord be with you.
Shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you. There'll be shouts of joy, and all the trees of the fields will clap